What's up, guys? Nolan here, and yesterday there was a Russian podcast with Nikita where he answered a bunch of questions about Escape from Tarkov, so we got the translation, and there are some pretty interesting things in there to talk about. But then today we also got a buff to spawn chances of a ton of good loot as well as barrel velocity for bolt-action rifles. First up, we got the buffs for today. Almost all high-ticket, expensive, and or rare items in the game have had their specific chances of spawning increased, and some of them drastically. Some examples being the Golden Rooster, which got a 300% chance increase, or Fire Steel with over 200% increase. Graphics cards, ophthalmoscopes, Aisas, vases, and teapots got 50%. LEDXs, rollers, clocks, lions, and defibs got 100%. And that wasn't all. The full list is in the description if you're interested. Like I said, there was also a velocity buff to all bolt-action sniper rifle barrels, and if they only have one barrel, then it was to the rifle itself. Some examples are the 20-inch M700 barrel with a 63% increase, and the VPO 215 getting a 103% increase. The full list is also below, but basically all your favorite bolt action builds just got buffed, so I'd say stick with what you like to use in game and just enjoy the fact that it's better now. Now we move on to the Russian podcast with Nikita from yesterday. Please just keep in mind that this is translated and people can make mistakes from both an information point of view and a translation point of view. So on top of the usual caution of things being subject to change, just keep in mind there might also be a translation error here or there. Probably the biggest topic here is Nikita confirming that the dynamic loot change did not remove loot from the game. They just changed the locations of the loot. More specifically, they redistributed valuable loot by location and are constantly messing with it. He said to specifically check weapon rooms and marked rooms again, as it may be a bit better now. So this confirms that we just need to look harder, and if we seem to have looked everywhere, then we need to let them know something might be up. However, this is loose loot that we're talking about, and with how big Escape from Tarkov is, I doubt we've done a good enough job just yet over the span of a week, so we should probably keep at it. Apparently, the plain on woods and the swamp on shoreline have been messed with, so maybe start there. Another big thing is that streets is what they are waiting for to go open world, and Nikita confirmed that they will be moving to open world after streets is finished. For those that don't know, streets isn't coming this year. It's actually going to be coming, maybe if we're lucky, summer of next year at this rate, so that's a good old SoonTM on that one. And a couple more things to keep in mind is that streets might actually be its own location, and the rest of the map will be a second due to the sheer amount of stuff on streets. Nikita talked about how streets itself is actually bigger than all of the other current locations combined, so it might be just too much to make one big map. But if they can figure it out, that obviously will be really cool. On the subject of streets, Nikita said that streets is so big, you literally will not be able to search and loot the entire map yourself in the span of one raid, so they're thinking about making it possible to join mid-raid on streets specifically. This ties into the mention of INFILS from him the other day on the podcast with Jesse Kazam and Veritas. This is probably what he was talking about, but we'll see if it pops up at other locations. He also said that they might make scavs spawn in at random times on streets as well to help even out the population of scavs there, since there should be a lot of scavs there at all times. Nikita mentioned when it comes to the biggest changes to the game, they want to prepare casual players as much as possible, but they will still be moving forward with their plans to make the game more difficult. They want to make the game as diverse as possible as well, so if you play once a month, you would be surprised about how much has changed even after release. They plan on doing this with special events and a very dynamic economy. Scav Karma was added to the game to increase the variety of gameplay that can come from playing as a scav, and it looks to be working well. Nikita mentioned there will be bounty hunters for bad karma players in the future, and that negative and positive karma will both have their good and bad qualities. He said more on that later. The Jaeger-Stashes might change to where they only have a possibility of spawning but have better loot. Nikita doesn't seem to like that you can farm them so easily. Also, Nikita mentioned that the airdrop system is finished. Airdrops will be on streets, but he said they may also have a chance at appearing on other locations as well. For those who don't know, airdrops have been planned for a while. They're going to work very similar to Rust, where no one really gets a warning when it's about to happen, and it's a free-for-all for when it lands. But then there's also going to be chances at static airdrops already being on the location, and you will not hear the plane because it will already be there. BSG are happy with how the bleed system works right now, but they might decide to add one more thing. He didn't mention the other thing, but I bet it's something to do do with large wounds, since we have seen the artwork for gauze injectors and advanced tourniquets as well as quick clots. Nikita wants to make sure everyone understands the game is going to get a lot more difficult starting now. There was a lot of complaints about dynamic loot, and they didn't even remove anything, they just changed where you find it. He mentioned more advanced weapon malfunctions are next, and specifically said we will suffer from it. He also said that weapons are going to overheat in the near future as well. I'm not sure if this is sticking here, but in the past he said along with the overheating feature, if you want to call it a feature, they were also going to add a couple of the belt-fed weapons, but I have heard no mention of the belt-fed weapons anytime recently, so we'll have to wait and see if that ends up happening. Lighthouse is coming this year, and it is about half the size of Shoreline. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that was mistranslated because I thought he said it was about the same size as Shoreline before. We're going to have to wait and see on that one as well. Maybe something's changed there. Nikita confirmed there will be an in-raid trader on Shoreline again for anyone who didn't know. He also mentioned there will be more new special features coming with that location specifically. If you didn't know, the Lighthouse location will be coming with patch 12.12 now, but 12.12 will likely drop around November or December at this point, seeing as Lighthouse is still pretty far away. There will be other patches before then with some things. I made a video about that the other day. You can check that out in the description. Actual boss voice lines with them speaking at you when you are fighting them are coming for each boss, but they need to get the voice acting done for them, so it's still a while out. The arena is full steam work in progress, and that's all Nikita wanted to say about it right now, so it seems like they're keeping that one buttoned up a bit. One of the new modules coming for anti-cheat will apparently track players' inventory habits more directly somehow, and it has to do with what they drop or pick up in raid as well as what they buy or sell in the flea market. If that actually ends up working, I don't see how that can't catch any cheaters, since that's where they get all their money and that's how they do all of their RMT stuff, so that might actually be huge. Now, this was done yesterday, so they might have actually done this change today, but we don't actually know, so we'll see if something else happens with sniper rifles. But Nikita did mention yesterday that BSG might buff sniper rifles due to the favoritism of semi-auto rifles. Nikita understands it's mostly due to the range that most people engage in, but they want to move towards people wanting to bring a primary and secondary weapon when sniping. Both weapon performance and weight limits will affect that, so I don't really see people switching off DMRs, but we'll see. There will be a new total graphics overhaul coming after patch 12.12, so at some point next year, and after that overhaul, BSG will be looking into seasonal weather, but no promises it can be done. They're worried about it making sense realistically in-game, like snow on your weapon as well as the environment. I know they've talked in the past about that being DLC, so that might end up being later down the road in something like a DLC if they end up doing it. When you get shot, there will be extra sounds that your PMC will make and possibly change how you stagger when you get hit, especially if you have recently used a surgery kit without painkillers. Nikita said they will be implementing everything that they have planned and won't do an actual full pass on optimization until at least they have part of each planned feature in the game. This is actually good in terms of game development. This is something that I've been asking for years now. It's called vertical slice, where you implement at least part of the major features and then fix, add, and iterate on them as you go until you have everything that you want where you want. There's going to be so many crazy game-changing stuff coming to the game. It's been my opinion that with a game like Escape from Tarkov going where it's going, it would probably end up being better if people actually know what they're getting themselves into sooner rather than later. All of that got hit with a SoonTM though, so we'll see how much longer it ends up taking to get to that point. After release, Nikita said that EFT will be coming to Steam, Epic, and all major game launchers, so anyone interested in that, there you go. And that was actually all for today. Depending on when I get this video up, Nikita is also talking to Clean today at 3 p.m. Eastern, so if there's anything there to be said, I'll have a video up on that as well as soon as possible. Until then, however, check out our Discord of almost 10,000 people now with a great LFG for Tarkov and community games every weekend. The link is below. For the latest Tarkov news, check out these playlists here. If you like this video, then you know the drill. Please subscribe. I really appreciate the people who do. Otherwise, I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.